Hi, David. I wanted to say first, thank you for your post. I had a lot of the same responses on, what the study research question was, the outcomes, the design, and so forth. I think where I found your post to be intriguing was in what you found interesting, and then the strengths of the study, as well as, the adaptability and what that would look like. Which is what made me want to comment on your post. When going through, really focused on some of the limitations and what that looked like and how to improve upon it, and really focused more on that relationship with God. Whereas you had talked about the attachment and their experience and how there was no longitudinal study in that. And you said, in having that really could have captured someone at that spiritual distress. That's not something that I had thought about when going over this, of, what historical events may have been happening in that person's life to impact their attachment to God when the study was conducted. And so I think that would have a really great impact and, maybe cause some bias through it. I think, that having that survey really didn't help in that comparison. The other thing that I really enjoyed about your post was, how the study did neglect to take in the perception of the Holy Spirit, and so forth. They really, I think for me, the bigger picture there was, focusing on, you know, I wonder what the focus was on the religion, since that was not defined. Was it something from a Christian view? Because then at that point, does it neglect, Catholic? And then they're just putting it out there as this, they're trying to make it more generalizable, right, to this attachment to God and psychological well being and what that looks like. But they didn't really define which religion they were, really focused on. And if there were multiple religions, what are those impacts then on what that relationship looks like? So I think, that would, having that different denominations would have allowed for a greater impact and maybe allowing for their study to then be more generalizable and the religiosity aspect of it. So we had some similarity on that as well. So, I really appreciated, how you had pointed out some of those limitations and strengths for the study, and what that looked like, because I had some of the same questions as you, but also at the same time did not think, like I had stated earlier, about some of that historical events that may have been causing the spiritual distress, or where a person was in their life, that made it to have that attachment to God, and would that impact them positively or negatively. So I think some of those questions were missed throughout this different studies, that definitely could have been explored and allowed for maybe a greater study to come about of this. So again, thank you for your post, and the different perspective that you had brought to the two studies for the week. And I hope you have a wonderful night.